Hi, welcome back. Now that we've talked about the Agile Manifesto itself, we will now explore the 12 statements behind the Agile Manifesto. Each of these statements I will connect to our definition of agility, which is to frequently and systematically reduce uncertainty and deliver value for our customers. Let's go through them one by one. The first statement is, our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through continuous and early delivery of valuable software. Now again, you can replace software by any type of product, be it a truck, be it a PCR test, be it a medical diagnostics device, whatever. But the intention is to satisfy our customers through early and continuous delivery. Why? Because the sooner we deliver something, the earlier we create value for our customer, and when we make it a continuous delivery, we can incorporate our customers' feedback in the development of the product itself. The second statement is about welcoming changing requirements even late in development. Why is that so important? Because many customers only realize what a product can do for them or how a product can help them once they see the evolution of the product, once they see first versions of that product. And we would want them to bring in those ideas that come up later, because our intention, again, is to deliver something that delights the customer. Our intention is to frequently and systematically reduce uncertainty, which does not mean that at some point there is no more uncertainty, because our customers, as they work with the product, will come up with new ideas on how this product can be beneficial to them. Statement number 3 is about delivering software or product frequently in short timescales, ideally weeks and not months. This one is very easily to connect to what we talked about earlier in this module: frequent and systematic reduction of uncertainty, or frequent and systematic delivery of product increments, which help us achieve a lot of the benefits that we talked about earlier. Statement number 4 is about business people and developers working together daily throughout the project. Later in this course, we're going to talk about Scrum, and in that framework, business people is mainly the role of the product owner. In extreme programming, that business person is the on-site customer. In both cases, we realize that it is tremendously important to the overall product development if business people, the product owner, and the developers work together very closely. Why? Because through this interaction, we tremendously shorten the feedback loop, which helps us systematically and frequently reduce uncertainty. The fifth statement is around building projects around motivated people and giving them the trust to get the job done. Whatever framework you look at, all of these frameworks have one thing in common. It's about decentralizing decision-making. That decentralizing decision-making is not a means to itself. It's a means to an end. The intention is, through decentralization, we get faster decisions. Through faster decisions, we get faster product development. Through faster product development, we get faster feedback cycles. And you already know, faster feedback cycles help us systematically and frequently reduce the uncertainty that we're facing. Statement number 6 is about efficient and effective communication. In 2001, when the Agile Manifesto was created, they specifically stated that the most effective and efficient way of communicating is through face-to-face interactions. I still believe this to be true in many cases. But the pandemic of 2020 has shown us that we can also very effectively and very efficiently communicate using video technology. Some organizations even use asynchronous communication, for example, writing longer forms of text and then responding to those messages whenever it suits the other person. So whatever shape or form of communication works for you, continuously evolve and think about how you can make it more effective and more efficient. From time to time, having a face-to-face interaction is definitely beneficial, also from my own experience. Statement number 7. Working software or product is the primary measure of progress. Why is that principle so important? Because we face so many projects where people report things around progress that actually do not result in any working product. Think about, we've finished the specification on time, or our project is green, or we're hitting the following KPIs. If we're not delivering value to our customers, we can't be sure that we're actually making progress. Because everything could be green, as we stated in one of our earlier videos, but at the very end, when we ship stuff to our customers, we realize that many of the most important risks have not been addressed, and we've actually not made the progress that we intended to make. Statement 8 is about sustainable pace. What a lot of people get wrong in agile product development is when they think about the term sprint. They believe a sprint means running fast. Now, if you look at track and field, yes, a 100-meter sprint usually results in people running really fast. But they can run really fast because they know that it's just this one sprint they have to do. Yet most product teams don't have one sprint. They have an endless number of sprints. So they look at the sprint not about the pace, but about the distance. And every 100 meters, if you make the connection to track and field, they want to stop, they want to review, they want to retro, and think about how they should run the next 100 meters. But what they need to make sure is that they have enough gas in the tank so that they can run the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the 100th sprint. So despite breaking our work down into shorter product increments and shorter time frames, this does not mean that we run faster. We still need to keep sustainability in terms of pace in mind. Statement 9 is about design and technical excellence, which both enhance agility. Why? Because they not only make a system easier to maintain, but also easier to change. In the long run, the cost of innovation becomes less. And when we work in an agile manner, we never want to compromise on quality. We want to compromise on quantity if we have to. But quality should be kept high so that both the product itself is great and delights the customer, but more importantly, changing the product becomes easier. Statement 10 is phrased in a weird way. It says, simplicity, maximizing the amount of work not done, is essential. Now, how can we maximize the amount of work not done? If we don't involve the customer, it can only be done through frequent customer feedback. And again, this frequent customer feedback based on increments that we have built also helps us frequently and systematically reduce the uncertainty that we're facing and reduce the amount of work that we do so that we get to better return on invest. Statement 11 is around the best architecture, design, and requirements being created by self-organized teams. This is very similar to another principle we talked about earlier. Both of them have the decentralization of decision-making at their core. Because a self-managed or a self-organized team actually is allowed, is enabled and empowered to take the important decisions about architecture, about requirements, and about design. And once we have that kind of team, And once we have that kind of policy and empowerment in place, we can actually build better products, and through the faster decision making, frequently and systematically reduce uncertainty. The 12th and final principle is about reflecting on how we do our work. This is all about the continuous improvement of our collaboration. This is about the continuous improvement on how we build the system. It's about continuous improvement on how we communicate and work with our stakeholders. So if you think about the final statement in the Agile Manifesto itself, where we talk about responding to change over following a plan, this 12th principle exactly helps us do that. In Scrum, we use retrospectives. In other frameworks, there are lessons learned and whatever you want to call those things. But it's all about frequently and systematically sitting down, reflecting on how we're doing the work, coming up with ideas on how to make this more effective and more efficient, and then act based on those ideas. I know this was a quite long video, but I wanted to walk you through all 12 principles so that you get a good understanding of what they stand for and how they can be connected to everything we define as agility, being the frequent and systematic reduction of uncertainty. In our final video of this module, we will quickly recap everything we've learned, and then there are a few assignments that you can take upon yourself. I'll see you there.